Thanks everyone, that was helpful. So we've changed the wording again back to which delivers a revised dividend profile. Right, so are there any further questions from anyone? Right, we'll move into debate. It says Councillor Goff, but you're not Councillor Goff.
I'm a lot better looking. I actually feel sorry for this situation. I feel sorry for CCHL. This is a lesson for everybody. If you borrow too much money, us and CCHL, you end up in this position. We dropped $440 million on CCHL a number of years ago, and that certainly hasn't helped it. If we did save or have saved or will save more money in the LTP, we wouldn't be asking for so much of a super or dividend from them. So we've got to work together as a big family and make life easy, not go around knocking on their door all the time, say, here, give us more dough, because I know that they want to put capital into other things and like the port expand, like the airport do more runways or whatever they want to do, and we're constraining that, and we'll be the first that go to them in a number of years' time and say, oh, you haven't done your job right. Well, we didn't give you any money to do it because we asked for it all as dividend. It's a very, very hard situation, and I don't envy them at all. Even though the inflation rate I was just reading on my phone has gone down to 4%, we're still in strife as far as the country goes, and the light at the end of the tunnel is a long way away. So I don't like this situation, but I think we've got to go ahead with it. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not in your shoes. Thank you.
All right, we'll move Councillor Peters.
Thank you. Thank you for coming us today and being so free in your discussion with us. I really hope that we, as a council, can find a way to work better with CCHL. For us to have the decision we did in December and then be tapping again on the door now to say we want more, we need to have a mature conversation amongst ourselves so that we can get to the point where we as a council can get what we need, but we need to empower CCHL to be able to thrive and have the companies actually thrive so that we as a city can get out of them what we need. We can't just keep hog-tying our companies and then whipping them and asking for more. We need to actually have a good conversation so that they can feel free to come to us with good ideas that can empower our companies to thrive so that we as a city can succeed. So trying to have our cake as it is and eat it at the same time is unsustainable. We need to get around the table and have a conversation with the team and Abby and the board and say, look, how can we empower you to come to us with the good ideas to allow the companies to succeed and thrive so that we as a city get everything we need. So hopefully going forward we can have a good discussion and get this sorted out.
Councillor Fields.
I'd just like to support my colleague, Councillor Peters, on some of his comments there. I think that this whole process that we've been through has been a bit combative, a little bit, I don't know, sort of back and forth. I think that there's a lot of room for collaboration and empowerment. We've got an amazing set of assets, and I just think that this council, from what I know, from the brains around the table, is always willing to work together to get good outcomes for the city. And I think that we've got opportunities to do that. We're always open to good ideas, and I think that we just need to sort of just start just working well together to achieve that, really.
Councillor Scandrett.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. I'm going to support this. I don't envy CCHL's position, rock and a hard place. But I am kind of confused about some of the comments. You know, like we've been through a journey with CCHL, looking at options and discussing, which kind of, and I kind of went away from that kind of confused because the door got shut very close, very sharply on that. And then on the other hand, my colleagues put 114 amendments to the long-term plan, which is, you know, quite expensive. So I'm just, there's no free money here, and it is hard to juggle the debt, and this is where we're going to have to do. But I am a bit confused about some of the comments, so I will be supporting this.
All right, I'll move Councillor Keown.
Yeah, I am extremely reluctant to support this, but I find us stuck between a rock and a hard place. This absolutely sucks, and I have no doubt in my mind we made the wrong decision in December, because that was only to ask the public their view. It was not to actually do anything. It was just to ask the public. But democracy died. A little bit of democracy died in my heart that day, because we didn't go out and seek the public's views on a way forward. It wasn't to sell the family silver. But there is still the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the LTP discussions. Every single project in the city for the next 3 years that can be put on hold should be put on hold. If you're in a financial crisis, if you don't have to have it now, it should be put on hold. Every single one. We have to smooth out that lump. And I expect that, like they were referred to, the brains around the table will come together and come up with some results on that. And I really, really hope all of my fellow councillors are looking for as many savings as we can when we get to that final number. Additions are out the door, but savings are more than welcome, because people are hurting, and now we're going to put a ton of hurt on CCHL because we weren't strong enough to make decisions leading into our LTP discussion document, and now we are going to hear back from the public, and all of us are hearing at the moment how much people can't afford the proposed rate rise. It must come down. If you don't have to have it now, don't spend it now. We can, and there's a ton of projects, and also there's a number of services that we can look to reduce, not cut them all together, but just imagine if every library was closed just 1 day a week. Library staff did propose that, but that's another one of the savings we didn't take. We don't have to have everything now. Start saving some money and you'll save some people's houses.
Councillor Moore.
Thank you. I just want to point out that the decision in December wasn't just asking the public what they think. It was continuing work on a business case, which was around asset sales being able to proceed without council or the public having input in future. We can still consult on asset sales. Any councillor can bring a motion to ask a council to consult on asset sales if they so wish. So anyone can do that any time. That hasn't happened thus far, but it could still happen if someone wanted to.
Councillor Goff.
Sorry about that, thanks. Well, we've gone to CCHL, and said, how can we be collaborative? Let's work together and let's find a solution forward. And I think the fact of the matter is we were given a viable solution forward, and the council essentially chose to reject it. So we were given an answer and we didn't like it. And we're in a position now where I think, quite frankly, we're making resolutions that are somewhat schizophrenic, because council has requirements which can't be ignored. If I were a CCHL director, I would be quite uncomfortable with this. But as a councillor, however, which is how I'm voting today, I don't think that there's a viable alternative to not support this. So, look, I appreciate that we're in an awkward position, but dare I say it, the council itself has put itself in this position. I think it literally just defers some really uncomfortable conversations. They will both be about CCHL, but they'll also have to be about our operational expenditure and our capital expenditure, and there's a pretty appropriate time to do that in the long-term plan. But I just think it puts a lot of heat on both of these organisations. But dare I say it, but the council has only got itself to blame. So reluctantly, I will be supporting these recommendations because I think there's no alternative. Thanks.
Councillor Johansson.
I mean, let's be clear. We voted to add a huge amount of money for an anchor project, which has led to the single biggest thing that we're spending money on. And for all the time that we spent on looking to sell off assets, we spent very little time actually looking at creative ways of funding and financing the thing that's contributing the biggest cost, which is the new stadium. So it is a bit frustrating for people to attack council for making that decision, as my colleague pointed out, which was to not put in the LTP a suggestion that we delist all of our strategic assets and allow CCHL to sell them off or divest or do whatever they wanted without it coming back to council. So, I just don't think it's fair to put that on us. We have some big costs. I think the Cathedral actually made some really good points yesterday in the public briefing around the inherent unfairness of what happened post-earthquake. We still have a massive amount of damaged infrastructure in our city that is not being repaired or renewed in a reasonable time frame, that is causing huge costs to us alongside a number of other organisations and entities in the city who are all continuing to struggle post-earthquake. But fundamentally, I believe in retaining ownership of our public assets. I'm incredibly proud of the work that our council companies do. I think we should really celebrate the fact that we've kept our assets in public ownership and for the benefits that they have provided across many decades to our city. In particular, I do want to acknowledge also that it would be great to get support for the amendments that I've put forward. I think I'm the only one that's put an amendment to actually raise money, right? Like, let's look at how we can raise additional revenue. And I've done that under 6, right? So we know that some of the people that are benefiting from some of our infrastructure and the companies that we have, like the cruise ships who come in and the visitors, do have an environmental impact. You've heard recently a report and a deputation in that regard, and I won't go into everything it says, but there is research out there that shows cruise ships are responsible for 1/4 of all ocean waste, despite being only 1% of the merchant fleet. And that's a huge problem because it puts our ocean ecosystems under massive pressure. And we know the importance of all the good work that's happening in Littleton, Whakarapo Harbour. And I commend the LPC for having a really good detailed plan around how they look at the environment in their draft SOI. But I do think we need to make explicit reference to the impact of cruise ships, both for the emissions that they generate, but also for the environmental impact and what is being done to monitor that, measure it, and obviously to address it. So I hope you'll support the additional resolutions, noting for those councillors who are concerned about the imposition on CCHL, this is a direct way to actually start raising some additional revenue.
All right. Now, resolutions 5 and 6. Is the seconder happy to put those in with recommendations 1 to 4? No. Okay, we'll put those F5 and 6 separately first.
Yep.
Sorry? Yep. Right, so we'll put 5 and 6 to the vote first. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Any... Oh, so the seconder was Celeste, yeah. All those against say no? No. We'll do a division, I think, yeah. Division.
So this is for recommendations 5 and 6 only. So Councillor Peters. Councillor Fields.
Yep.
Councillor Coker.
Yes.
Councillor Donovan. Yes. Deputy Mayor is not here. Councillor Henstock, who's on Zoom. Okay, she's absent. Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Councillor Goff.
No.
Councillor Johansson.
Yes.
Councillor Keon.
No.
Councillor Barber.
Yes.
Councillor McCallum.
Yes.
Councillor Scandrett.
No.
The Mayor.
Okay, so that's
8 to 4.
Yeah.
In favour.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll do the vote for 1 to 4. Right, all those in favour say aye.
Are we?
1 to 4. Aye. Anyone against?
I'm an abstain, thank you.
Abstain? and one abstention from councillor Donovan from 3. Right, so it's passed. Great, thank you. Right, now we'll move on to item 14.
13. So,